I'm Beth Kanter, and many of you know that I wear many hats. Not one today, but I'm the CEO of Zoetica, a company that works with nonprofits to connect them with their networks. I'm a person who has dedicated her whole life to working in the nonprofit sector. I've been working with nonprofits for the last 30 years. The first half of my career in nonprofits was focused on working with arts organizations, initially in development offices and marketing. And I had the opportunity to work with different funders like the National Endowment for the Arts and analyze different grant applications for large fundraising campaigns. Then later I branched out to working with other types of nonprofits. And so it came as no surprise that I was an early adopter of social media tools. I started blogging because I had adopted 2 kids from Cambodia, and I was blogging about Cambodian culture. And actually my first comment on my Cambodian blog was from a Cambodian blogger. And I thought it was so cool that I could use these tools to reach out to some young person in Cambodia who I didn't even know, who could help me learn about the culture and teach it to my kids. And I'm the co-author of the Network Nonprofit. This book is for nonprofit leaders who are a little bit trepidatious about embracing social media to understand why it's so important and why it's so important to change the culture of their agencies and work in this different way in order to be successful with social media. Contrary to popular belief, a network nonprofit is not a nonprofit with an internet connection or a Facebook profile, although those 2 tools are very important to network nonprofits. Network nonprofits are simple, agile, and transparent organizations that allow insiders to get out and outsiders to get in. Okay, so right now we're in a cab. We've left the hotel and we're headed over to Harvard Square to the Berkman Center, where Alice and I are going to do a lunchtime talk. The central thesis of our book, The Network Nonprofit, is that organizations need to work less as single institutions and more like networks. So in short, they not only need a presence on Facebook, they need to work like Facebook. Over the last 20 years, there has been a huge increase in the number of nonprofits. But if you look at the same time and ask the question, have we really moved the needle on social change? The answer is we haven't. So if we look at a nonprofit that isn't networked, what we see is staff working behind the firewall in different departments, and maybe the marketing department's not talking to the fundraising department, or maybe programs aren't talking to IT. So that needs to change. So imagine you have staff behind the firewall connecting to their professional networks that they've hooked up with on Facebook or LinkedIn. The institution becomes a little bit more porous, allowing those staff members to get out and connect with networks of people and institutions to work collectively to solving complex social problems. The change that I just described is, a transformation in the way that nonprofits need to do their work to become network nonprofits. And as you can imagine, change is hard. I mean, think about it. For us as individuals, when we want to change something, I'm going to stop eating chocolate. I'm going to stop yelling at my kids. I'm going to walk. I'm going to, get exercise every day. Change is hard for us as an individual, but it's even harder. It's magnified when you have to change a whole organization, especially a nonprofit institution that's been around for 50 or 100 years and has a whole style of working. Okay, in the book we talk about 3 different models that nonprofits use for transparency. The first one is the nonprofit fortress, and as you can tell by the name, it's a not very open organization. Has complex approval processes and really doesn't allow any outside input. The next model is one that we call transactionals, and in short, they treat their networks and their stakeholders like ATM machines. Their only interaction with them is an ask. And I'm not saying that nonprofits shouldn't ask for money or volunteers or people to sign petitions, but what we're saying is that that shouldn't be the only mode of interaction, because it prevents the very important work of relationship building, which is key to success. And the last model is something that we struggled hard to find the right metaphor for, And initially we were thinking glass building, but there's still a wall with glass buildings. So we came up with the concept of a sponge. A sponge attaches itself to the ocean floor and is able to bring nutrients in and let waste come out. And so we think that is the model and the metaphor for network nonprofits to embrace transparency. They go out in their communities, they leverage their networks, support legislation to make their communities a better place to live, and in the end, they're on the forefront of social change, making the world a better place.